Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is February 9th, 2025, and Barcelona's valuation, or the first team's valuation, has increased dramatically, making it the fourth team in the world with the highest value. Also, Barcelona feared that La Liga's possible new financial fair play rules could affect them, especially with the contract renewal of Lamine Yamal. And finally, Barcelona are now making plans for the return of Vitor Roque. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we'll begin with the good news that Barcelona's valuation has gone up, or the first team's valuation has gone up, making Barcelona the fourth team in the world with the highest value, sitting at 100.02 billion euros, which is a dramatic increase from last season, and part of it has to do with, of course, the signing of Dani Olmo, who added value to the team, but also the explosion of some of Barcelona's youngsters, including Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, and Marc Casado. In the case of Lamine Yamal, his value doubled from last season to 180 million euros. Pau Cubarsí's value went up from 30 to 70 million euros, and Marc Casado's value went up from 2.5 to 30 million euros. Now, those are not the only players whose values have gone up on the first team. We also have Rafinha, whose value went up from 50 to 80 million euros. Pedri, whose value has gone up from 80 to 100 million euros. And Jules Koundé, whose value has gone up from 45 to 60 million euros. Now, there are some players whose value has gone down, like Frankie de Jong, Andreas Christensen, and Ronald Araujo, but of course, the rise in the other players' values has more than made up for it, again, making Barcelona the fourth highest team as far as value all around the globe. And this is how the chart currently looks like, with Manchester City being the highest value team with 1.3 billion euros. In second place is Real Madrid with 1.23 billion euros. Third place is Arsenal with 1.15 billion euros, followed by Liverpool, Chelsea, PSG, and then Bayern Munich. Now, what's amazing about this is that Barcelona's value, or the team's value, has gone up so much thanks to mostly academy players, while teams like Man City, like Real Madrid, PSG are making these, multi-million euro signings, 100 million euro signings. Barcelona is just promoting youngsters who cost them €0, and yet the team's value is just skyrocketing, which is absolutely amazing. Again, as I've said many times before, La Masia is undoubtedly the best academy in the world. Now, speaking of money, speaking of team's value, Barcelona are reportedly worried about the possible new financial fair play rules, which could spell trouble for Barcelona in regards to the contract renewal of Lamine Yamal. Now, as you know, Deco has been hard at work trying to renew the most important players on the team, like Pedri and Gabi and Ronald Araujo, who just signed their contract renewals recently. Iñigo Martinez is set to renew his contract pretty soon. We also saw the contract renewal of Gerard Martin. And not only was Deco renewing these players because they're very important for Hansi Flick, but he was also trying to get these renewals as fast as possible in order to fit them under the current financial fair play rules, because Barcelona have been informed that La Liga are currently studying the current financial fair play rules and are planning on perhaps changing them. And if those changes take effect, that could mean that Barcelona will no longer be under the 1-to-1 rule, which of course would spell big trouble for Barcelona in regards to the contract renewal of Lamine Yamal. Now, Lamine Yamal will not turn 18 until July, so Barcelona cannot extend his contract until July because they want to give him a long contract. And as you know, under the current rules, if you're under 18 years old, you can only sign contracts up to 3 years. So if this financial fair play rules go into effect this summer, and Barcelona are not under the 1-1 rule, that means that Barcelona are going to have to work very, very hard on trying to fit in the contract renewal of Lamine Yamal under the financial fair play, which of course is not good news for Barcelona. Now, for now, it's not confirmed whether the financial fair play rules are going to change, but if they do, again, that could spell trouble for the club, and that's why Barcelona were trying to get as many contract renewals done as fast as possible. And man, Javier Tebas, my friend, what a league you are running. You are running this league into the ground. I mean, teams are having to sell their players because they can't register them. And we're just seeing a huge migration of talent away from La Liga thanks to this clown. Anyways, let's continue since we're still talking about money, but let's talk about Barcelona's summer preseason tour, because it's reported that the club are currently finalizing the first 2 out of 4 matches that will be played in Asia during this summer, because as you know, Barcelona have signed an agreement with a promotion company to hold 4 matches in Asia, 2 in Korea and 2 in Japan. And it's reported that Barcelona are very close on finalizing the first 2 matches that will take place in Korea, which will generate around 10 million euros for Barcelona in profits. We don't know who the teams are, but they're saying one of those teams might be a team from the Korean League, or perhaps an all-star team where like the 11 best players out of the Korean League facing Barcelona, with the second match being played against a European opponent that hasn't qualified to the Club World Cup, because as you know, the Club World Cup will be played during this summer and not all teams qualify to it. So the other match could be against a European team that hasn't qualified. And then, of course, Barcelona are still have to finalize the 2 matches in Japan. So the 10 million euros are only from the 2 matches in Korea. We'll see how much Barcelona can generate from the 2 possible matches that will take place in Japan during this summer. All right, let's end this video with the news that Deco is already making plans for the return of Vitor Roque. Now, as you know, Vitor Roque is currently on loan with Real Betis for this season. They have an option in that contract to extend the loan by 1 more season, but it looks like Vitor Roque has failed to impress at Real Betis. And now many reporters in Sevilla who are close to Real Betis are reporting that Real Betis will not be extending the loan, and Vitor Roque will be returning to Barcelona during this summer transfer market. And of course, since Barcelona don't count on Vitor Roque, it's reported that Deco has already started working, making calls, moving around, trying to figure out where he can sell Vitor Roque to, and everything is starting to point at the fact that Vitor Roque could be returning to Brazil. And of course, the ideal situation for Barcelona will be to get at least 25 million euros for the Brazilian, who seems like it's a total failed signing. And as I've said many times before, Barcelona need to give us an explanation on what happened here, because the club signed Vitor Roque paying 30 million euros fixed plus 35 million euros in variables. That's a 65 million euro operation for a player that was supposed to be the next best thing. The guy to replace Lewandowski, the guy who Barcelona paid extra money to bring early, only to arrive and for Xavi to take 2 looks at him and figure out he wasn't good enough, and then for Flick to take a look at him and figure out he wasn't good enough. Then he goes to Betis, a mid-table team, and they figure out right away that he's not good enough. So someone needs to explain what the hell happened. How can we get all these glowing reports from scouts saying that Vitor Roque is the next best thing, and now it looks like he's going back to Brazil? So we definitely need an explanation, especially given the money involved. We're not talking about paying 1.2 million euros for Mika Fai, who didn't really work out. So we sell him and it's whatever, just 1.2 million. No, we're talking about 65 million euro operation. If you're going to spend that much money, you better be 100% sure that those scout reports are at least accurate. But anyways, we'll have to see if the club explains this or whether they keep sweeping it under the rug. All right, that is all the news for this video. I did upload another video before this one, so make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.